I'm sure many of you have partaken of the Hyderabadi biryani that was laid out. And as a result, in the last half hour, it would have settled in. And I'm sure some of you are reclining back in your chairs with that biryani and eyelids are drooping a little bit. So may I request that you have a sip of water, sit up in your chairs, because the next session is going to give you a lot of very valuable information. I have 3 panelists, and I must tell you, by way of a very initial introduction, each of the 3 panelists has a minimum of 3 college degrees to their name. So that's just the amount of learning they bring. The experience that they bring is far more vast than that. Let me start by telling you a little bit about this session and then invite the panelists as well. There was a father and his grown-up son who were going for a walk. And as they were walking side by side, the son said, "You know, Dad, I'm planning to get married, but I think a little differently. I don't want you to spend any of your hard-earned money. I'd like to spend my own money and pay for my own marriage and so on. So I just wanted to ask you, when you got married, can you try and remember how much money you had spent on the wedding?" So the father thought for a moment and he said, "You know, son, it's so far back, I can't actually remember how much money I had spent on my wedding, but what I do remember is I'm still paying the price." Now, this is something very commonly spoken about, that women are dying to get married and therefore, they don't mind spending any amount of money. The price is not too high, but the bridegroom is always a little bit reluctant. Perhaps what we should do is change some of these understandings of the typical roles that we are supposed to be playing, that we are always the happy bride, that we are always the happy mother, and so on and so forth. So I think what we will try and do in this session is maybe change some of these myths, maybe also try and build you, the individual, and not just the roles that you play.